Let's talk about the spiral matrix. So you're given an n by n 2D array, and then you have to return the list. So this is pretty straightforward. So what you actually need to do is you need to keep track of your starting row, starting column, and ending row, right? So this is starting row, starting column, and this is ending column, and this is ending row, right? So you will just basically keep decrement or increment based on your constraint, right? So I'm just going to code, and then I will explain while I'm coding. So I need a n represent what? Sorry, m represent metric.length, right? So which means represent the number of a row, right? N represent a number of a column, and I need a total. So the total value is either from 1 to something, right? So it's from 1 to total, right? And I need a starting row. Starting is always starting from 0. Starting column is always starting from 0. And the ending row. Ending row is actually represent n minus 1. This is because we don't include the index 0. So ending column is also your m. Sorry, this is m minus 1, right? And this is n minus 1, right? So this is pretty much it, right? So while the total, which is greater than 0, then I will what? I will definitely keep traversing. When I get rid of, when I break out the while loop, total is actually what? Is 0, right? So I also need a list, result, new array list, and return result. Alright, so I'm actually put my value inside the metric into the result, and total is actually my counter, right? So for first thing, I'm traversing this one, right? Traversing this, so it's going to be starting row, starting column, and ending column, right? So for in I, so you need to traverse the column, right? From I to starting column to ending column. So it's going to be starting column I less than and also equal to ending column and I plus plus, and then you have to what? Result add metric at what? Starting row AI, right? And once we add a value, right, we need to decrement the counter, and also we also need to check the condition it is still valid, right? So this is pretty much the basic idea, right? So this is n, sorry, and we need to keep track of the counter, and then when you break out the while loop, for loop, then you will keep break out another for loop, because this is only one direction, right? We have 4 directions. This is one direction, this is another one, this is another one, this is another one, right? We have 4 directions, right? So so now we no longer need a starting row, right? So starting row plus plus, we plus plus because we started from 0, right? And now we are traversing the last column, right? So last column, the dynamic change is starting row and ending row, right? So for I equal to starting row, and then I less than equal to ending row, and then I plus plus, right? And result add, so metric AI, and then the last column is going to be what? Ending column, and exactly the same thing, total minus minus, and also total greater than 0, and then we need to have a semicolon right here. So we get rid of this, so we move in the ending column, what? Ending column decrement by 1 because we're starting from the last one, and then now traversing this one. So for int I equal to what? So we're starting we're traversing the column, right? Because the row doesn't change, so it's going to be what? I equal to what? Ending column I greater equal than starting column, and I minus minus, and then I'm going to say result add, so metric at what? So this should be the last should be the last row, right? So it's gonna be ending row AI and then semicolon. And also don't forget the counter, total minus minus, and total greater 0. So now we need to decrement our ending row, right? So now we are traversing the last one, the last direction, right? So for int I equal to what? So we are actually traversing the entire row, right? I mean, sorry, ending row to the starting row, right? So ending row I greater or equal to starting row I minus minus. Result add matrix at I, and then the column is what? Starting column, right? Starting column. And also don't forget the counter, total greater than 0. And now we're using this one, right? So we have to increment the starting column, starting column, because the size of a matrix could be what? Could be large, right? So it doesn't matter. It's always what? It's always I mean, you will end it at 0. So you have to keep moving your starting column, starting row, ending column, ending row. And this is pretty much it, right? So if I don't make any mistake, yes, I don't. Never. I mean, just kidding. All right. So let's talk about the time and space. This is a space, right? It's pretty much all of n, right? N represent length of the matrix times, you know, m times n, right? The row and columns. And this is a time. Time is pretty straightforward. You need to traverse every single one of the cells. So it's all of m times n. So they are the same. So if you have any question, leave a comment below. Subscribe if you want it. Alright, peace out, bye.